Apologize ahead of time. Top of the first, Jose Offerman. Hi, Papa. Tejada. I got it. I got it. Don't got it. Offerman would later score. 3 batters later, Nomar Garciaparra fouls one off his left foot. He would stay in the game, have an RBI single. More on that later. Same inning, bases loaded for Jason Varitek. Randy Velarde tries to turn 2. Miguel Tejada tries to do nothing. Sox would score 5 in the first alone. Bottom of the second, Tejada. Sorry, this just isn't your lucky day on the knuckler. Top of the fourth, Troy O'Leary facing Gil Heredia. O'Leary fly ball away from Miguel Tejada. Ben Grieve, though, clearly traps this ball after it bounces off the turf. Amazingly, Mike Everett rules it a catch. Now, Garciaparra left the game before the bottom of the 8th inning. He has a bruised ankle. He is day-to-day. And then why not once more for good measure in the 9th? Tejada striking out again. It was not his better day. And the Red Sox win it, making that 5-run first hang-up. Fletcher off the end of the bat to left field. David Segui's going to try and score, and Charles Gibson says, I don't think so. Dan Wilson holds on, you're toast. Still 3-0. Bottom 5th, 4-3. Ken Griffey says that's going to change. In the upright and locked position, a 2-run job is 43rd, sneaking him ahead of Rafael Palmeiro for the AL lead at 6-3 ends. Top of the 7th, still 6-3. Shannon Stewart to deep center. Ken Griffey, I have bat, I have glove. At one point, one of 6 consecutive putouts, one shy of the Major League record, set, of course, by Ben Chapman back in 1937. And the Mariners down evening for Manny Ramirez. Here's the up. Singles to left. On the play, Omar Vizquel would come in to tally. Ramirez with 2 RBI in the game, giving 143 on the season. That's the good, but Manny giveth, Manny taketh away. In the second, Mark McLemore to right. Manny Ramirez, Zole! No, sir. All the way to the wall. Royce Clayton scores on the triple, and it's 2-1 Rangers. Bottom 7, Rangers down 3-2. Pudge Rodriguez came in hitting .433 against the Tribe. This will do nothing to hurt that stat. Out and gone, a 2-run shot, and hey, looky there. His 32nd, and the Rangers win it 4-3. So the White Sox are still alive. Perhaps Texas would like to play the Indians.
Or Steve Traxel against Greg Vaughn. Rips it to third. Leaping grab by Gary Gaetti, leaving Vaughn talking to himself. Bottom of the 6th, 2-0 comes for Sammy Sosa. Sammy, if it's foul, it's foul. It's a foul ball. Sosa 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts in the game. No home run, number 59. So you're chasing a foul ball, people. Top of the 8th, Steve Traxel gets Pokey Reese swinging in a 2-1 game, and Traxel is your winner. Not bad for a guy who had 16 losses on the season, 6-16 now, giving up 4 hits over 8 innings, retired 16 straight at one point to win consecutive decisions for the first time this year. Again, Sammy did not homer, but neither did the Reds, and that's news because the Reds had belted 18 in their previous 5 games. They more than made up for it in the nightcap. That is for sure. To the nightcap we go. Top of the 3rd, Reds leading 2-0 for Greg Vaughn against Brian McNichol.
Cleveland and New York coming
no relation to Christie.
There's another drive. Belted deep by
Vaughn's 32nd home run. Reds up 4-0. On to Waveland. Fans still looking for it. Top of the 8th, Vaughn looking for his 3rd homer of the game. He got it. Taking Rodney Myers deep into the northern Chicago evening. Vaughn 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 5 runs batted in. Reds win at 10-3. We said they didn't hit 1 home run in the first game. Well, the Reds went out and hit 6 home runs. Ward rips one. Rico Baronia makes the diving stab for the out. Bottom of the 3rd, Phillies up 1-0. Runners at 1st and 2nd for Bobby Abreu, who busts out the whoop and stick on Chris Holt. Taking that hanger to the cleaners. 20th homer of the year, 4-0 Phillies. The Astros would go up 6-5, bases loaded. Bottom of the 7th when Kevin Jordan busts out the walking stick. Jay Powell walks in the game-tying run. We're tied at 6, but in the top of the 9th, runners on 2nd and 3rd in scoring position for Ken Caminetti, who comes through at the base hit off of Wayne Gomes. Great Biggio, Matt Niesky come on down, and the Astros come up with a rousing 8-6 victory. 5th straight victory for the Houston Astros. Ken Caminetti 2 for 5.
Bottom 3, 2-1 cards. Brett Boone on 2nd. Chipper Jones, who's hitting .322. Fly ball into the gap. Little Mac. Joe McEwing making glove. Boone tries to score all the way from 2nd. Collision at the plate. Albert Castillo hangs on. Boone is out. Bottom 4, 2-1 Cardinals. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Jose Hernandez to short. Luis Ordaz. See what had happened. Brian Jordan scores. Ordaz 2 errors on 1 play. He only had 1 error all year coming in. ESPN born 20 years ago tonight. McGuire hit number 61 a year ago tonight. On this night, no, he was swinging, then he was chilling. Big Mac 0 for his last 12. Bottom 9, Howard Battle. Straight off the meat rack. The guy recalled from AAA on September 1st gets his second straight pinch hit. This one scores Otis Nixon. Braves win it 3-2. And then everything froze. Everything froze at the stadium. The Braves did win that game 3-2. Right now, John is over for Jeff Kent. Kent deep to center. Over Darryl Hamilton's head. Marvin Bernard scores. Watch Barry Bonds. He nearly runs up Charlie Hayes'. Well, he nearly runs over Charlie Hayes. Barry's like, yo, Charlie, bro, you got to go. You got to go, Charlie. Charlie Hayes runs at 4:40. Bottom 6 bases loaded for Ray Ordonez. Game tied at 3. Ordonez up the middle. Rich Aurelio looking like Ray Ordonez. Ordonez has a gold glove. Aurelio had gold glove material. Mets go up 4-3. Top 8, game tied at 4. Runner on third for Bernard facing John Franco. And Bernard goes to short. And this does not look like Ordonez, although it is. Not ruled an error, ruled a hit. Ray's still not happy. Giants took the lead 5-4. They go on and beat the Mets.
In Milwaukee, top of the 6th, Brewers up 3-2. Steve Finley, crush job, is 26th to tie it at 3. Finley would finish 3 for 5, a single away from the cycle. Still in the top of the 6th. Bases juiced from Matt Williams with 2 down. Up Eric Plunk. Get out of town, and I mean it. A grand slam for Williams. His 33rd homer of the year, 9th grand slam of his career, and the Diamondbacks win 11-9. The grand slam gave Arizona an NL high.
And Rosado says there will be no score. Struck him out with a high heat. Now in the 3rd inning against Jeter. Blows him away with a fastball. Next inning, Rosado facing Chile Davis, and it's chili sauce. Rosado maintaining a 2-0 lead. He would go 7 innings, tying a career high with 8 strikeouts. Bottom 6, Royals up 3-run runners in 2nd and 3rd. Carlos Beltran off Ramiro Mendoza. That gets under Tino. Mendy Lopez and Johnny Damon score. Royals go up 6-1, and they would go on to win 6-3. Jermaine Dye crossed the 100 RBI threshold for the first time in his career. Casey leads the season series with the Yanks 5-3. By the way, since his perfect game, David Cone 1-4 with a 4.22 ERA. Woof. Orioles and Twins, top of the 4th. Albert Bell facing Joe Mays. And quite frankly, this one goes to the nether regions of the Land of Lakes. His 33rd, his 3rd in 2 games. Goodness. O's up 1-0. Scott Erickson cruising against his old team. He retired 19 players on ground balls, thanks in a large part to plays like Cal, robbing Chad Allen. Baltimore goes on to win 5-0. Erickson allowed just 3 hits at 1.
Top of the 5th, tied at 1, 2 on. Nobody out for the Pods. Jason Schmidt gets Kilvio Veras to ground in to the double play. Schmidt would get out of the jam without allowing a run. Bottom 6, same score, 1 on for Brian Giles off Sterling Hitchcock. Giles rips one up and out, 36th of the year for him. He goes 3 for 4. Schmidt wins his 12th. Hitting 500 against Rocky starter John Thompson. Bottom of the 4th, 2 on. Expos down 1-0. Not anymore. Base hit, Peter Bergeron and Jose Vidros score. 2-1 Spos. Guerrero 2 for 3 of his 62nd home run. Good Braves defense here. J.D. Drew gives it a ride, but Brian Jordan, the former Cardinal, robs him of a home run. Would have been his 12th bomb of the year. Bottom 4, Braves are down 1-0 for Chipper. And nobody's robbing Jones off Rick Ankiel. Get out of town, his 39th. Game tied at 1. Cards are down 5-2, top of the 8th. Here's McGuire facing Russ Springer. Gets him on the breaking ball. Top of the 9th. Cards are down a run. Tying run on 2nd. Edgar Renteria hadn't struck out in his last 54 plate appearances. He goes down to John Rocker. 2 down. Tying run on 3rd. Marks on deck. Would he get a chance to hit? No. J.D. Drew frozen by Rocker. Caught looking for strike 3. Rocker is 32nd save. Leaves McGuire against the Mets. Top of the 5th. Octavio Dutel, he gets Bonds on the high heat. Barry go 0 for 4 in the game. Mike Piazza in the 6th. Lines one to right off Miguel Del Toro, the reliever. You guess that was Sean Estes' runs on base that scored, and the Mets were up big 7-1. Giants down 7-2, 2 on for Ellis Burks. He goes deep to right center. With the Mets bullpen blow it, the Giants are right there, down 7-5. Top of the 9th, Armando Benitez on to close the door. Gets Jeff Kent for the 2nd out. Kent was 2 for 5. And the next batter was J.T. Snow, and Benitez gets him looking.
Benitez, his 18th save, and the Mets win a wild affair, 7-5. Dotel wins his 7th consecutive decision, but barely. The Mets bullpen, second best in the league for most of the season. They've dropped to 5th. As a group, they have 5 losses in their last 14 games after losing 5 in the previous 63. Pat Mahomes summed it up for the entire group when he said, "I was lost out there."
The ship took on a little water. It sprung a leak, but old Armando bailed us out. There's no problem. Right, this time of the year, every win's a good win. It's not how you win it, it's if you win it.
We just got to go out there and just keep winning ball games. I mean, Dodgers say whatever they want to, you know, about them, but they still have talent. They have Kevin Brown, and he's always tough to face, I mean, in any situation. So we just want to go out and keep winning ball games.
Here is your up to the second standings. The race for first in the NL East. Both clubs win, so nothing changes. Since the teams were last tied for first on August 21st, the Braves have won 13 of 16. Again, they still have 6 head-to-head meetings, and the Mets will play 13 of their next 16 on the road beginning Thursday in L.A. The Diamondbacks and the Brewers. Luis Gonzalez on second at the top of the 6th. What a game for Steve Finley. Get out of town off Hideo Nomo, a 2-run home run. His 27th 4-1 Diamondbacks. Top of the 7th, it's 5-1. 2 on for Finley. We get a little louder. Get out of town off Mike Myers. A 3-run shot, second of the game, 8-1 Diamondbacks. Then on the 9th, 8-1 for Finley. Get out of town, and I mean it. A 3-home-run game for Steve Finley. He goes 3 for 5, 6 ribs, and the Diamondbacks explode all over Milwaukee, 9-1. Finley becomes the first Arizona player to hit 3 home runs in a ball game. It's the 15th 3-homer game in the Bigs this season. That matches the mark set in 1987 and tied it in 1996. The Diamondbacks increased their lead in the West to 7.5 over the Giants.
Now to the American League, and lost in the elation of the Red Sox win over the A's Tuesday that saw their wild card lead grow to 4 games was the loss of Nomar Garciaparra. Nomar left in the 8th inning with a bone bruise to his ankle and was not in the lineup Wednesday. And while Jimmy Williams downplayed his absence, the stats magnify it. The Red Sox 19 games over 500 with Nomar, right at 500 without him. Jimmy trying to get on the plus side of 500 minus Nomar on Wednesday. Donnie Sadler replacing Nomar at short. And routine ground ball here, but Donnie, throw to first, little high, is 8th error in 40 games. Comparatively, Nomar, 12 errors in 118. Rich Becker is safe, and that would be costly. With 4 batters later, 2 men on for John Jaha Aha. A double to center over the head of Darren Lewis. Becker and Randy Velarde scored. Jaha 1 for 3, 2 RBI. It was 2-0 Oakland. A scary moment for the A's. Top of the 3rd, Olmedo signs. Oh, boy, right hard into the tarp, chasing down the foul pop-up. Signs had the wind knocked out of him. He would be okay. We'll prove that later. Bottom 5th tied at 2. Matt Stairs singles to center. Becker scores. Darren Lewis tries to throw out Randy Velarde at 3rd, and he throws it to oblivion. His 2nd error. Velarde scores. A's take a 4-2 lead. We told you Olmedo signs was okay. We weren't kidding. And the 6th, deep and gone off Pat Rapp. A's go up 5-2, his 10th, and they hang on to win 6-2. So Boston now 10-11 without Garciaparra as the A's get a split of the top of the 4th, no score. Jamie Moyer on the mound facing Vernon Wells. Wells grounds one back. Moyer makes a nice play. It's a 1-6-3 double play. Moyer 6 scoreless innings. And then the offense. Carlos Delgado at the plate. That's not coming back. Deep and gone to center field. The first person to hit it out to dead center at Safeco, number 41 for Carlos. 1-0 Toronto. Bottom 8, still 1-0. Ken Griffey Jr. He knew as soon as he hit it off Graham Lloyd, his 44th, a 2-run job. So the M's up 2-1. Jose Mesa comes in, still 2-1. Sean Green at first, Carlos Delgado. This is the 2nd time he's done it in the game, and the 2nd time this season he's hit a 2-run bomb in the 9th off Mesa. It's now 3-2 Toronto. But wait, 9th inning, a runner on. Billy Koch had walked the first batter, and then to Tom Lampkin, his 7th, and the M's are going to go home happy on this one. All the runs coming on home runs, a game-winning 2-run job in the bottom of the 9th, and the Mariners. Phil's pen is up and throwing down 1-0. Darrell Ward says change that. A 3-run bomb is 6th. It's now 4-0. Penn wasn't ready fast enough. Schilling pulled after going 5 1/3, giving up 4 runs. Same inning. Billy Brewer facing Mike Hampton. Helping his own cause. Singles to right, scoring Lance Berkman. 5-0 Stros now. Hampton, along with the great pitching, 2 for 4 at the plate. Still in the inning. The Penn still in trouble again. Jeff Bagwell life begins at 40. Second 3-run bomb of the inning, his 40th. No, there is no mercy rule because the Astros score 9 in the 6th. Go on.
7:12 p.m. Rain delayed the start of the game just under 2 hours. Another delay. At this time, you could have been watching SportsCenter with Dave Rebson, Robin Roberts, and Mike Greenberg. 7:36, Devon White's missing as they're trying to play ball. The umpire, Mark Hirschbeck, is looking for him, and after a few minutes, he would surface. 7:59, Billy the Marlin doing his part. More rain. On ESPN2 at this time, you could have been watching the end of NFL Tonight with Mark Malone and Mike Golick. 9:54, Luis Castillo leaves the game, dislocated shoulder. The game's still going on at 11 Eastern when another SportsCenter begins with Bill Pito and Reese Davis. 11:39, 13th inning, bases loaded, drawn in infield, drawn in outfield for Mark Kotsay. Base hit. Dave Berg scores, and the Marlins win 5-4. They sweep the series. They figured about 200.
To Jeff Houston, and Houston, Goodwood, rips it down into the right field corner. Now, Matt Wallback's going to try and score all the way from first. Here comes the throw from Lou Rodriguez home, and Wallback is in there as it gets away, and the Angels win. It's their first 3-game winning streak since early July.
Pitching well for the Rangers. Gets Richie Sexton looking. Top 6, Harold Baines looking. Next batter, it's Sexton again. Sexton struck out 3 times. Burkett struck out 7 in 6 2/3. Top of the 7th. How about pinch hitting for Jim Thome? They can do that. Manny Ramirez a pinch hit, so Johnny Oates calls for the righty Tim Crabtree, and Crabtree strikes out Ramirez swinging. Rangers win 3-0. Just the 3rd time this year the Indians have been shut out. Kansas City Monarch Buck O'Neill taking in the action. Top of the 5th, tied at 3. Runners in the corners for Constantino Martinez. And he slaps the Glendon Rush pitch into center. Ricky Lede scores easily. The throw to second skips away, and here comes Derek Jeter to score. Well, the Yanks set a 5-3 lead. Bottom 6, Royals are down 7-4. Tying run at the plate, Carlos Beltran. A flare off Orlando Hernandez, and Luis Sojo able to make the grab. El Duque wins his 16th. The Yankees go on to win 9.